Hey, all right. JC, if you can put up the is Anthony. Are you up for reading that?
Sure, I would love to. J Bob, everyone. Let's see. Here we go. How do you bring Baba into your day? When you wake up, do you think of Baba first thing, or do you prefer to have a coffee and come to your senses first? What is Baba like to you? Playful, motherly, fatherly, urging you on, a confidant, etc. Do you speak to him, expressing your concerns, your uncensored complaints, your gratitude? Do you go over your agenda for the day with him? Does he have a clear and vivid personality, more human to you or more divine, impersonal, like a warm, pervading presence? Is he up close or more in the background of your life? Does he communicate with you in the course of the day? Do you have certain practices in the morning? Are you drawn to saying the prayers? Or do you have your own homemade prayers with Baba? Are you drawn to saying Baba's name inwardly? Do you, quote, dress your soul with Baba as he suggested to a group of Western men? On the way to work, do you have certain ways you remember him? Do you play recordings of Baba talks or songs to accompany you on the way to work? At work, do you usually have to keep Baba to yourself, or are there coworkers that are accepting of your life with Baba? Or is there some negative reaction to your dedication to Baba? Do you dedicate your workday to Baba, and in what ways do you do? In what ways do yeah, I guess do you include him in what you are doing? Are you able to connect to Baba and your fellow employees? Do you feel a connection in what you are doing to what Baba may be doing in the world? Do you lose yourself in your work and then remember Baba when you come out of your absorption? If you are retired, how does your day unfold with Baba? Or if you are home with the kids, how do you bring Baba into your day? At home after work, how does Baba show up in your evenings? Do you sometimes read Baba books or watch some of the videos? What kinds of recreation do you enjoy? Do you sometimes call fellow Baba lovers or spiritually minded friends and even occasionally get together with them? Before going to bed, do you do some type of meditation or say a prayer with Baba and go over your day with him? On your days off, do you just unwind and relax and just spontaneously think of Baba informally? Any practices that help you integrate your thoughts or feelings? How does Baba show up in your decision making? Are you able to notice your natural impulses and allow yourself to think of Baba and have him help you in your decisions? Do you experience Baba's companionship throughout the day? And what helps you in this? What you have to share will be very interesting to all of us. In his love, with help from dear friends, Jeff. J. Bob.
Thank you for that.
Thank
So, are you able to hear me? Am I? Yeah,
Yes.
I can't help thinking how deeply Baba must be touched in that we're all trying to remember him throughout the day. And although there are many, no doubt, genuine lovers of God in the world, very few, very few who are actually devoted to Baba. I mean, that's incredible. Very few who recognize that Baba himself was once again amongst us. And I feel in this Advent, Bob is doing, really emphasizing his companionship throughout the day and a living relationship with him. We have all the photographs and movies, books about his life, and practical ways of making ourselves more keenly aware of his presence. And I would say we're very blessed in all of this. And so, what I would like to do, is there anybody that wants to venture out and share any of these things that I wrote down a number of things so that there's a wide variety of. Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jai Baba, everyone. So, yeah, so Baba is with me basically, I would say, every moment of the day, whether consciously or unconsciously. So, this is my routine in the morning. When I first wake up in the morning, my very first thought is, and internally I say to Baba, Baba, I entrust my every thought, word, and deed to you. And that's how I dress my soul first thing in the morning. And then, of course, I get up and get dressed. And after I get dressed, I say the three prayers. That's my routine: the Master's Prayer, the Repentance Prayer, the Beloved God Prayer. And then I say to Baba, Baba, may your love and light be with those that need you. And then I ask for his guidance every day. Please continue to guide me in thought, in word, in deed, so that whatever I choose, may my actions always please you in doing your will and fulfilling your wish. And then I start my day with that. I go about my activities through the day. And even throughout the day, every little something or the other will remind me of Baba, and he'll naturally come to my mind. And I will either thank him for something or just talk to him, go through my agenda for the day. If I have any questions, it may be something super simple or insignificant, like, what should I dress? How should I dress today, Baba? Or what would you like me to wear? Or what should I cook today? It could be something very insignificant. And then whatever answer comes to me, I will follow that. My happiest moments, of course, are when I'm reading Baba's, books on Baba literature of any kind, and I read profusely, or watching Baba videos. Very, very happy. And then, of course, in the best part is in my happiest moments, whether I'm talking to my kids or playing with my grandchildren or watching a beautiful sunset, Baba just comes to mind, Baba, thank you. So let's see. And then, of course, I end my day. When I have my meals, before the first bite, think of Baba, say thank you and begin. And then at the end of the meal, I thank him. And in moments, of course, when I end my day, then I will end with, Baba, I submit my every thought, word, and deed to you. Now, this has been my routine for quite a while. And I will say that sometimes, spontaneously, when I'm confronted with something, or when something, say, negative happens, or not so fun, the first word out of my mouth spontaneously is Baba, whether it's to protect myself, whether it's to protect somebody else. And I'll give you an example of something that happened just recently in our family. We had gone to the beach to spend a weekend with my family. This was a couple of months ago. And we have a grandchild, our first grandchild, who is a special needs child. She is autistic, and she also has a further disability with a recession of a gene that robs her of speech. So she is nonverbal. She's 12 years old right now. And my daughter and son-in-law have been wonderful parents, doing everything they possibly can for her. And so we were spending this weekend at the beach. And now Mila, that's her name. Her name is Milana, and we know her fondly as Mila. She responds in her own way, but sometimes one is not sure whether she really understands what we're trying to say to her, or because she's nonverbal, it's very difficult to get a response back from her. But by far, she's not aggressive or whatever. She's very into herself, into her own little world. If she has her little iPad with her, she's very happy, and she's just goes about, amusing herself with that. So we were all together in the evening, and we had just finished dinner. And this was around 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was already dark outside. We were talking, and all of a sudden, one of us noticed that the front door was open. Now, this is not her own house. We were using two homes on the beach because we were about 11, 12 of us all together. So a few of us were across the street in one home and a few in the other. And there was the main road that goes in between the two houses. So one of us noticed that the front door was open and Mila was nowhere to be found. Well, everybody just scattered like crazy, one running to the beach. This is a very narrow part of the island where the beach is on one side and the bay is on the other. She was nowhere to be found. We were just scattered all over, shouting, Mila, Mila, Mila. And the first thing out of my mouth, as soon as this started happening, I just started chanting Baba's name, Baba, Baba, Baba. Everybody was here, scattered. Some went in a car looking for her. I mean, it was sheer agony for, I would say, a good half an hour or so. But I just kept repeating Baba's name, Baba, Baba, Baba. About half an hour goes by, and all of a sudden her father and my other son-in-law had gone in one direction looking for her in the dark. And they finally returned, and only to find that Mila was in the back seat of the car. Now, what she had done was she had gone down the stairs of the house that we were in, crossed the road in the dark to the other house, and their car was there, their family car, which she recognized. She opened the door, and she must have just gone in the back seat and was playing around with her little iPad in there. And in all the pandemonium, nobody noticed that she was in the back seat of the car when they drove off. Now, any number of things could have happened in that short span of time with the way this child is. But I knew in my heart that if Baba wills it, nothing, not even a hair on her head would be touched. And we were blessed that we found her, she was safe. And this is how Baba comes into our lives. When you totally have your trust and faith in him, he is always there. My daughter and son-in-law were shaken up like you wouldn't believe. But this whole experience went so much further to reinforce in them how Baba comes into our lives and helps and takes care of his own. So, Jai Baba.
Very, very touching and wonderful to hear the whole unfoldment of your day, all dedicated to Bob. Yeah.
Tina,
Thank you.
Tina, you are on mute.
You're muted, Tina.
That was a great story, Goher. And I'm glad it had a happy ending. That was really a great ending. Sorry. Alexa, stop. She comes on sometimes, plays music and stuff. Well, I have been saying the prayers every morning. most mornings. And then I go to this two-way prayer group where I actually write down messages from Baba. And then I go into a breakout room with two other people, and they tell me what they heard, like what phrases might resonate with them. So that, and also another thing I do is that whenever I'm going on a trip, I'm kind of a nervous driver because, I live in New York City and I don't drive that much. And so I ask Baba to please protect me and have me arrive safely and return safely. So far, I haven't had any accidents. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Ah, wonderful.
Josh.
Hey, yes, I actually did a little bit of thinking to these questions. Normally I just answer them on the fly, but I actually did a little bit of thinking. So yes, I really love them. I really thought there were some good, interesting questions, Jeff, and I appreciate the time you put into coming up with these thought-provoking questions. In regards to when I wake up, do I think about Bob first thing? No, but this is a very good reminder to try and do that. Often it might be good 30 minutes before it pops into my brain, but yeah, no, this is another good reminder. And then that's why I like these questions. A lot of them were just good reminders. And there was also, you're asking about how we see him, like whether he's like motherly or confidant or whatever. I'd say for me, it's very interesting. I think that he sort of changes a lot, he's sort of a little bit of everything. I really don't know what, I don't even pretend to know what mood he's in. So yeah, it's a lot of it, but I do have this sort of like just magnetic attraction towards him, where I just feel drawn, and for no apparent reason, I'm just very interested in him, and think about him a lot. Like what I do yesterday, I put some henna on my hand and it says Baba's name in Devanagari script, but it's just good to have some fun like that. Yes, what else? I have come up with my own set of homemade prayers that I sort of say at the end of the 3 prayers, right when I'm going to sleep. They're more just reminders, reminders of things that I want to keep in my head. And I'll share them with you folks now to maybe inspire you to come up with your own. A lot of them might not make sense because they sort of like, that's just what makes sense to me. But what is it? Yes. May Baba give you my good deeds. May Baba give you my bad deeds. May Baba give you my good words. May Baba give you my bad words. May Baba give you my good thoughts. May Baba give you my bad thoughts. May Baba, the infinite God is within me and I am a part of the infinite. May Baba is you who did these actions today. May Baba, I seek to have a dip in the pool of your love that's always there for me to wash my weaknesses in every day. May Baba, thank you for today. May Baba was lucky to have this day today. May Baba, I acknowledge that you're the one in absolute control of all things. May Baba, thank you for my struggles. May Baba, I hope that you have a good night tonight. May Baba, I seek to be more open to your help in my life. May Baba, I must love myself in order to love others. May Baba, you are the protector and preserver for all people and things. May Baba, I'm meant to be happy, to make others happy. May Baba has said that God is there to forgive. May Baba told Shirin the most important thing is to be happy. May Baba said no one is utterly lost and none need despair. May Baba said we have a right to be happy. This day today was a gift from Maya Baba. Maya Baba said, do nothing even to please me against the dictates of your own conscience. Maya Baba said, if you have the peace of mind of a frozen lake, then too you'll realize me. Maya Baba said, a slowed mind is a must and a stopped mind is God realized. Maya Baba, in my dream, Maya Baba told me the most that he wanted my head to fall off and for me to stop thinking. And then also, May Baba emphasized the spiritual importance of living in the present moment. Mayor Baba, remember that documentary where that group of people define the meaning of life as having enough food to eat? Imagine if I was that grateful for all the food that I've eaten in my life so far. And Mayor Baba was loving and accepting of the two homosexuals that visited him and called them chums, and that's a good reminder too. So yes, sorry, I sped through that because I didn't want to bore you, but that's like just the weird reminders and things that I've assessed and quotes that I've collected that I just emphasize to myself. But yes.
Fantastic, beautiful. Wow, that was really lovely. And that is a homemade prayer, believe me. You picked the salient points. Very entertaining, and I'm sure Baba thoroughly enjoys that.
Anthony?
Hey, J Bob, everyone. Yeah, that was great, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, go here also. Yeah, Jeff, I really appreciate that email. When I read it, it's like, wow, this kind of like laid out everything you can possibly do with Baba during your day, to where if we missed anything, we can kind of fill in the blank with that email there. It was great. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would say the core of my practice, I really many years ago started off in meditation. I had a lot of like anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like at the beginning of the path, and the meditation just really helped to quiet all of that down and help me find my way. So yeah, to this day, I've had a twice a day meditation practice for about 18 years now, and I do about 45 minutes in the morning and about 25 minutes in the evening. So in the morning, I'll start off with some homemade Baba prayers, a little shorter version of it than Josh is there, and I wish I could get up to what he has. It's amazing. So yeah, I have some prayers I kind of go over, and then I do a little bit of pranayama too. I find that the breath work really helps clear out the mind and bring some energy. And then I'll usually read a Baba book for probably about 15 minutes or so. And then once I have the feeling in me from that book, I feel like I almost would travel into whatever time period the book is from and feel Baba in that time. And when I have that feeling, then I'll sit in meditation with that feeling, and I'll just close my eyes and I'll take his name along with my breath, and I'll just sit in that for a good 25-30 minutes. And then after that, I'll set some intentions for my day and ask for his help and guidance. And then as I go about my day, I try to take his name along with my breath whenever I can. I'll try to keep that going all day long, with the exception of if I'm talking to somebody or working, or, I won't try to do it in the middle of those things. And I forget a lot, I'll realize like, oh, wow, 30 minutes or hours went by and I haven't, done anything to remember him. And then I'll try to just come back to it. Before I do any work, I'll offer the fruits of the work to him and ask for his guidance in the work. And then when I'm done with it, I'll remember him again. Let's see, meals are a big thing. Cooking, I'll try to put on some Baba Zoom concerts while cooking. That really helps preparing food and getting to hear music. Definitely prayers before meals also. Jim Myers' music in particular, when he's putting music to the Francis Brabazon and Rumi and Hafiz poems, that stuff, I'll try to put that on whenever I can. I really love what Jim does with especially with Francis's poetry. So yeah, at night I'll do my 20-25 minute meditation to close out the day, and it usually starts with 3 prayers, and then I'll take his name for a good 15-20 minutes after that. Sometimes play a Baba song. Yeah, yeah, I feel like that routine evolved out of the routine from the ashram at Temple of the Universe. Just really got into a good ashram routine there and just kind of carried that over to, Baba specific things instead of just like general meditation. So I definitely credit that to, I guess, the discipline of doing this stuff, trying to keep it up every day. And I feel like I got that serious about it because my mental health state at the beginning of the spiritual path was so bad. I became scared that I was going to end up, I don't know. It was really bad. And I thought I was going to end up like committed or something. And so I just completely ran in the opposite direction as far as my legs, as fast as my legs could carry me. I really thought I was in serious trouble in my early 20s. So I feel like that's what motivated me to just try to work as hard as I can to not end up in a mental hospital. But I don't know, maybe that was Baba's way of tricking me into starting to do all this stuff. I kind of feel like that's what it was now. So, yeah, Jay Baba, thank you everyone for listening.
Very beautiful. Wow. That's great. Wonderful to hear. Yeah.
Three.
Hi everyone. For me, Bob always said like the best way to love him is by loving others. And I was always like, I'll focus on myself first and I'll get to that later in life. Like I'll push that off because I didn't think I could do it now. And specifically he meant loving the people that you aren't inclined to love. And a few weeks ago, I like went through something and I don't know, something just like shifted in my mindset, I guess. And then I've talked about this movie before. It's called Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. It's on the life of Saint Francis, who I didn't know much about prior to the movie, but my brother told me I had to watch it, and I did. And there's really something so special about the movie, and I think if you watch it, you'll see it. But it almost feels like Saint Francis's presence and life was like breathed into that movie. And the actor who plays Saint Francis does a beautiful job. But I learned more about Saint Francis through that movie, and so started looking him up. And the one thing that I now say when I go to bed and wake up is, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace, which for me has been a great way to start the day, in that you kind of look at everyone, or it's helped me look at everyone as fellow instruments of the Lord's peace. So I'll say that. And then there's a Hafez poem quote that goes, I'm a hole in a flute that the Christ's breath moves through. Listen to this music. And I think both of them are very interconnected. And I always love that Hafez quote because the flute and Krishna and all that. But for me, I think I've been trying to be more intentional on thinking about Baba, not by thinking about him, but by how I act to others, especially how I think about others. There are people in my life that I don't talk to as much because I had a falling out with them or something or whatever it is. And when I think of those people, I'd have like, oh, screw them, like those kinds of thoughts in my head. And I'm now trying to move away from that and instead accept the mindset or mentality that they're also Baba, and I shouldn't be harboring these negative feelings in my head, because at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt anyone except me, and by hurting myself, I'm hurting Baba, which is tough at times. But I think saying those two prayers in the morning, and I'll kind of just repeat them as I'm trying to fall asleep, have helped me approach my day-to-day life in a more calm manner.
Lovely, Shri. Thank you.
Ready?
From Rhode Island here.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Makes me happy. Um, so, thank you so much for bringing forward these questions, Jeff. And you know, I came to Baba with Ken 8 years ago, and I've mostly experienced a lot of longing deep within my heart, and not that much feeling of connection until this year. I had a very big challenge, which was a health challenge, which I will tell you is resolved. And Ken and I have been volunteering on the center for 6 years, for like three months every year, and it's wonderful. And I've just taken so much and still not felt the connection. And the minute that I got this challenging diagnosis, instead of thinking about the body and praying about the body, I immediately went directly to Baba, and my only prayer was Christ consciousness. And that's where it has stayed. That's where it stayed. No matter what else or I'd never focused on that. And this was the connection. So Ken and I have not been doing ritual. Ken and I started this year to recite the prayers together every morning, to meditate together every morning, and to usually chant or sing with some music. Recently, I love this. Recently, Ken, what do you put on the computer, honey?
The YouTube site for Marabad has live streaming of Baba's tomb, and of course, they do the prayers. I think twice a day over there, and so we zero in to that part of the video. And it's so beautiful to listen to the sounds of the birds and the people walking around, and then time for prayers, and we do the prayers with them. We do
the prayers with them. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
And it is so powerful. That is such a powerful tool. We are there. We are there at the Samadhi. We are saying the prayers right there. So that, and then I have to say, I'm not that great at ritual. I am great at gratitude and appreciation. So I'm full of gratitude every moment, everywhere I look, and I just thank Baba. Thank you, Baba. Look at the sky. Thank you, Baba. Look at the grass. Oh my gosh, thank you, Baba, for that phone call. And that's what I do. And that's the best I can do right now. Thank you. Love you all, Jay Baba.
Fantastic. Hey, and Ken, if you can get that Hafiz thing a little later, it would be great. He's got a beautiful translation of Hafiz. I don't know if you can get it there, the sound properly, but a little later on, I'll give you time if you feel like it, okay?
All right, well, we'll try to work that out for you, Jeff.
Okay,
Thank you, Jeff.
I will say this about the music, Jeff. It's interesting. I mean, for me, well, first of all, for me, Baba is more, he and I witness each other day as we go through the day. Uh, you know, like he's always here with me. And life in relation to that sense of him as constantly as I can. It really is more like witnessing each other's day. But with the music, I think I've found a new audience. I've written the music to Hafez, which it's about, it's about going beyond the ego and to a larger life of self, which is aligned with the divine. And I've recently been singing to people who are in hospice and dying, and finding it's been tremendously inspirational, and feeling Baba's presence there so strongly. We have a friend now who is probably dying imminently. Been down there twice and done 2-hour concerts for him with his wife and with Betty and the hospice worker. And it really is very holy.
It's sacred ground when this is happening.
So I think probably I'm going to begin to do that sort of work regularly with the music. So just.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Great to see you too. And yeah.
Rich. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm having kind of two things I want to say, but my take on this is, I've had a life of rugged individualism with Baba, which means that I've gone through times in my life where, earlier on, especially, where I didn't remember Baba. And then all of a sudden, bingo, here comes Baba time again. But, and there's all kinds of versions of those stories. But lately, so I'm 74, lately, what I'm really striving for is I do not enjoy living in the gross world that much. It seems to be painful to me. And so what I want to do is experience part of that first plane. So for me, photos are the greatest single element of Baba's nursing my aspiration, period, end of story. Some music, yes. In the early days, Jim Martin, Bobby and Jane, blah, blah, blah. I'm old, but what I really love to do is kind of fade away from my gross consciousness and immerse myself in I'll only say that it's probably some little tiny portion of Baba's bliss down near the part where the gross and the subtle start to mix it up a little bit. I'm guessing at this. I'm just a human being, right? I mean, I'm guessing. But I'm sure Jeff has had this experience, and most of you have too. But the point of the story is that I really enjoy, I used to watch the Mishy Muse videos, and man, he can put you into a meditative state. If you just stick with his video and watch the Baba pictures, all of a sudden, all you can feel is Baba and that beautiful music coming from this Sufi guy. It's pretty cool. But so things like that are entertaining to me, but what they really are is like getting a little blood transfusion at the dialysis center. Take a little of this gross crap out and put a little more divine stuff in, please. So that's how I experience it. I'm looking for the first plane here, and it's not, when you're with Baba, you don't really go through the planes, we know consciously, but they're still there. And however Baba does that magic, a good examples coming to my mind now is I keep thinking of Erich and, can you hear me? I keep thinking of Erich and Padre and Pendu and some I only met once briefly, right? But these people, I think of them as, for some reason, human beings who have somehow got lucky, real lucky, and there they are with Baba, and they don't have to worry about experiencing the first plane or anything else. But we all know the story, you know, we can analyze all that with Peter Nordine and everybody, you know, Ward Parks, whatever. But these people were so far beyond what we think of as normal life. They were completely surrendered to Baba. That's a whole different world. That was completely natural. But what I want to do is I want to move on that path. And so if Baba gives me a little ice cream with chocolate syrup from the just where the gross meets the first subtle plane there, I'll take it. I love it. However I can get it, mostly it's photographs, a little music. And listening to Jeff helps a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Richard. No, wonderful. Anyone else want to venture out? Ah, good. We know she does the arties on a regular basis.
And that's what I wanted to say. I can wake up in a terrible mood. I get often fearful and not knowing what's gonna, you know, just all kinds of worries. And I know if I can get myself up and get a cup of coffee, and then I'll be okay. If I get on art, singing is so it just changes the vibe. Singing is a wonderful thing to that's what I've gained from Archie. And I always invariably come away from morning Artie in a better state than I joined it, without question. Evening more the same, but especially morning. I have trouble with mornings. It just makes my day. So yeah, that's my ritual. Like I didn't think I had a ritual, then I realized, oh yeah. When I make it as often as I can, because I know it'll make things better. Mm-hmm.
And Baba has said, when you say the prayers, he is with you. So you're and that, I think most of us experience that. And wonderful that you've been so faithful in that, Betty.
Josh.
Hello, yes. Yeah, just going on from Betty's, I really find, these events and, you know, whether it's Artie or this Zoom or anything, and also there's a Sydney sort of like dinner party where we do a little bit of Baba reading beforehand that happens weekly. You know, yeah, it's really great hanging out with other Baba lovers, I think, in a sort of a natural context. Yeah, really is. Yeah, it's great. It's like going to church, I guess, but more fun, you know, because you be participatory. But yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And no off plate, luckily. Well, I can look around. I mean, what about Tony? Oh, wait, we got Mayor Sagar. Yeah.
So I start my day with Baba when I get up. I think of him. The first thing I do is do the Baba prayers, all the three. And then for the last 15 or maybe 20 years, the first thing I read is not even my work emails. I read Baba's quote, first thing, which is on adarmeherbaba.org. And pretty much the quotes are apt to what you think that day. And then for the last 2 years, I taught my son to say Baba prayer. So as soon as when I drop him to school, as soon as I get into the car, he starts doing the Baba prayer. So apart from morning and evening that I do Baba prayer, he does the Baba prayer. And I just listen to him saying. And in my car and my brother Meher Prasad's car, most of the time we play Baba's songs. Whether he sits in my car, whether I sit in his car, it's always Baba's prayers or songs that are always going on. And then I have an audio version of Edwin Luck's, the ancient one, that I play every 4 weeks. Listen to the entire thing, which is like 2 hours. It's like Baba speaking to you. And then the other ritual I do is every Saturday, I watch You Alone Exist. I always do that. And then at work at 12 o'clock, I try to remember about Baba. Even in a meeting, I have an alarm that's set. So even if in a meeting, if I'm talking and then I have Baba's picture on my desk, so I'm talking about an issue, then my alarm rings and I know that it is time to remember Baba. So I just look at his picture. And then that's how I remember him in the day. And then fortunately, since my name and my brother's name starts with Meher, most of the people at work, their email starts with "Hi Meher," or when they ping us, they say "Hi Meher." So that's one way to remember him.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Very touching, Mayor Sagar. Beautiful.
Tony?
Hi. I'm enjoying this so much. I got here late when Gohar was sharing it. It's so beautiful. And all of them since. I've done different things over the years, so many different things, and none of them last for very long. They kind of, but say just going back a few years, I set all the Baba's 3 prayers and also a ghazal by Francis, Because of Love. I've set them all to music. So for a period, I sang them every day. So that's like a long medley, but it was the most wonderful way to say the prayers, playing the piano and singing them. Another thing that went on for about a year or so, sitting here with Elena, my stepdaughter, who's low functioning autistic, and we'd say the prayers together. And I would verbalize them, but because she's nonverbal. And then it would also be a free-flowing prayer about things in our lives. I would include that. And some of that I think is on the teen Baba Zoom group. They had me as a guest once or twice, and I had shared some of those. My wife and I now, we second year, I started studying Course in Miracles, and I just ate it up back in '94, and I felt this was Baba's incognito book. And so the last year or two, Zeke and I have been just reviewing the lesson of the day. Marianne Williamson has some little chats that she does on them. And then taking quiet time, adapting it to my life with Baba. But none of these last very long. It's more in the flow of things. Like I was just thinking, I'm sitting here binge watching Fringe for the second time and feeling Baba is with me watching Fringe, what I'm doing, feeling that Baba is with me and acknowledging Baba. On the other, Baba has been very generous and attentive with me. I think I can be very self-critical, and so he's made a real effort to get me out of myself. So in the beginning, I had so many Baba dreams. Then so many Baba stories. The ones that Mani said that when you tell it, it's as if it's signed on the bottom, "I have done it, Mayor Baba." And more recently, I've shared here and on the other chat these 3 times in my life where I feel Baba came physically in form, but not looking like Mayor Baba. And I felt really, I never felt self-conscious sharing the cute, wonderful stories, but that seemed like, that's a weird thing to say. But it felt Baba wanted me to share it. The most recently, about a month ago, that the young man and woman who brought Elena back from the hospital and came in and asked about Baba's picture, and he shook my hand constantly. As soon as they left, I knew it had been Baba, and I was reluctant to even say it to myself, but it was Baba and Mera. And I'm thinking, how do I share? I felt Baba saying, share it. Anyway, this week, 2 days ago, this message, oh Lord, I hope I still have it here. This message showed up on Age After Age, the Baba Facebook site by Mayan Walmart. And it's a brief thing, and I was familiar with it, but Baba sort of answering I know it was Baba, but there's like, what a crazy thing to say. How could it really be? But I know it. So this was the quote, which I never could make sense of until now. Erich Jesawala once asked Baba why he gave so little time to each person who came for his darshan. Baba replied, "Just a glimpse of me is enough for a lifetime. There will come a time when I will not be at any one place, but I will appear to them in 1,000 places and in 1,000 forms. I will give them darshan in their own homes. But for the present, even a glimpse of me is enough." And I feel I've experienced this, particularly one was a taxi driver, but the other two came into our home, and I only recognized the instant they left. The Baba says the 3 ways to recognize you're in the master's presence, and one of them is the bliss you feel, and the bliss would come flooding after it was too late to like run after them and fall at his feet. But so Baba helps me remember him. On the other hand, I get very much in my head, very down, feeling I'm struggling, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing what Baba wants again. And he does these things to lift me out of that. So
Hey, Tony, can you give that quote again?
yes. Erich Jesawala once asked Baba why he gave so little time to each person who came for his darshan. Baba said, "Just a glimpse of me is enough for a lifetime. There will come a time when I will not be at one place, but I will appear to them in 1,000 places and in 1,000 forms. I will give them darshan in their own homes, but for the present, even a glimpse of me is enough."
Yeah. I sometimes think that these Zoom gatherings, like Baba is in many places at once. I've often thought that this might have been somewhat of what he was talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah. Beautiful. Anyone else going to venture forth? Well, let's see, if Ken is there, can we get you to play this? Put it on, what do you call it?
Yeah, original sound on.
Sound, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes, won't we? I guess.
This song.
Yep.
Office.
I think I know the one you want, Jeff. It's called Threshold of Your Kindness. And there's a couple pieces to this. One is just that it reminds me of going to the tomb, walking in and bowing down. And the other part of it is just to recognize that that this is only part of life. So here we go. We're going to give it a try anyway.
Oop, Ken.
Can you hear the guitar?
Something.
Jeff?
It's dropping out some.
It's stopping. It's dropping out as we're playing.
In and out.
Check original sound.
Check original sound again.
It's on for musicians,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
It's funny because when you're talking, there's no problem.
It sounds fine when we're talking. If I slide this over a little closer to the guitar, maybe this way. You know, I've never had good luck with this on Zoom, but let me see if this makes any difference with the guitar. Can you hear that?
So far. Darn, it's blanking out.
Can you hear that? Can you hear the guitar, Joe?
Well,
Or anyone?
The sound too.
Who am I that I should happen on the threshold of your kindness. Bowed at the doorway of your fragrant memory, with the dust from your feet as my crown and wreath. Songbird's blessing, my guide on this pathway, made me the dust at your door. And now I would wait 1,000 centuries for the sound of your flute in my heart. And I'll be glad when from this hostel I shall bind my birds on. At the end of this street, when my friends will ask what has become of him, you guided me through your quiet chamber for conversation and wine. We drank and we talked of the whole world's sadness, and henceforth left its burdens behind. Morning breeze, remember me. My prayer to the cheek of the friend. May I serve your pearls to travelers by the sovereign sea, to be drowned by your love in the end. And I'll be glad when from this hostel I shall bind my burdens on. At the end of this street, when my friends will ask what has become of him, you guided me to your quiet chamber for conversation and wine. We drank and we talked of the whole world's sadness, and henceforth left its burden behind. Who am I that I should happen on the threshold of your kindness, bowed at the doorway of your fragrant memory, with the dust from your feet as my crown and wreath.
Thank you, Ken. Yes, we missed some of the chords, but we got
Yeah, It's never worked well on here. Only if I'm in the studio and I'm running everything through about $100,000 of equipment does it sound good.
Oh, but beautiful, beautiful.
It sounded beautiful. Yeah. We need another concert from you, Ken, on Zoom. Can we talk later? I'll email you.
We can talk about that, Betty.
Okay.
There's a big echo or reverb going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some feedback loop, I think.
Okay. Let's, how about Diane?
Hi, everybody. So I had been told a long time ago that it takes quite a while to develop a habit or to change a habit. So the one thing that I tried to make a habit of was to think of Baba first thing in the morning. And now the question is, what does first thing in the morning mean? I get up a lot. So sometimes he's not the first thing that comes to my mind, but he's always at least second. Like when you made the comment in your email, which was wonderful email, very thoughtful email, Jeff, that, when you come to your senses. So sometimes it takes me 10, 15 more seconds in my grogginess to remember. And it surprises me, astonishes me, delights me that I remember, because I was not a spiritual seeker who got into religious ritual at all. And so this is remarkable. And I try and I stumble with saying things like, Baba, take the wheel. I dress my soul with Baba. But those sometimes sound awkward to me. So sometimes I just keep saying his name and I try and think about him at different ages, different pictures. I totally understand why we plaster pictures around our houses as a reminder. I know my life is better when I remember him. And again, this is so surprising to me. I mean, I'm only 10 years into this. And I'm going to turn 68. So 58 of those years were a different habit. So the fact that I've been developing this habit and more prominently in the last 3 years, because of, I almost said shows like this, but because of Zooms like this, I knew Martha would like that one. The first few years of COVID, Baba woke me up at 6 a.m, whether I had to get up or not, so I would get onto Arti. And I would turn it on, Terry would be asleep, and I'd put it in my ear. Sometimes I'd fall asleep. And then it just stopped. He didn't wake me up at all for that. And I didn't want to fight it, because I was changing my relationship with Arti. And that showed it. So when I turn things over to him, I don't necessarily say, Baba, what should I eat? Although it's a really good idea. But we just drove, we weren't on camera the whole time because we went to a friend's granddaughter's graduation, and it's about an hour east of here. And we turned you guys on. We got on right before Arti. But the drivers in LA, I mean, it felt like the worst video game in the world. They were like in front of me like this, and the loudness was incredible, like drag racing almost. And I literally had to keep saying his name. It was the only thing that settled my nerves, because I certainly couldn't close my eyes and do any breathing exercises, not at 65 miles an hour. So I'm here to say, I mean, Go Hair, your ritual is like the gold star ritual. I mean, I know everybody does it the way they need to and how they need to do it. But I really appreciate that people have really literally outline what they do, because one of the things I find so incredible about these Zooms, we're talking about God, which again astonishes me that I'm talking about God with people on a daily basis. But we're talking about how to get through this life, how to navigate through. And people who are on these squares or at these sahavas that we go to, or at the center meetings, or write the books, are people who are teaching us how to navigate with Baba. So thank you all for taking me to church on a daily basis.
Beautiful. Wonderful, Diane. That was
I
great.
can just jump in and say something to you. It's your desire that has made this possible for you. If you have the desire and the longing to know Baba, he will find ways to come to you. So it's your desire. So keep that desire and longing always there. So that's it. Jai Baba.
So anyone else?
Terry, since our hand didn't go down for too long, can she jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Terry. Yeah.
Well, I was listening to people, and I think because I've had to run on a schedule my whole life, the idea of a ritual, that was one of the things that I liked about Baba, was you don't have to do a ritual. I don't know, he's just my pal and he's with me all the time. He cleans teeth with me, he takes x-rays with me. When I forget him, the x-rays turn out crappy and I go, oh, Barbara, I forgot to invite you in. And I just stay with him in the car. We talk. I actually kind of have conversations with him out loud in the automobile. His fiction's right here, and we talk all the way to work. And I listen to you sing, Jeff. You and your girls sing, and I talk to Baba, and I don't know. I make my world very Baba-esque, and he's changed my life. And I don't know, even the hard stuff doesn't seem as hard when that was the one thing. I don't know if I've said it here, but one of the, we got to see the twins at the Sahavas in New York.
No, in Marana.
In Marana, I don't know, I'm putting myself in a different state. Anyway, one of the things, I guess Mani wrote down or talked to them, and then in her hand, she wrote it down, and they lifted up the notebook to show us her writing in the book. And the thing that really struck me is that Baba doesn't remove obstacles or challenges in your way, but he holds your hand as you go through them. And that to me was everything, because, the stuff comes no matter what, but if he's holding your hand, who really cares? You do that like you do the beautiful things, all the stuff gets done with him. And I don't know, he's made life wonderful. Everything feels so much better. I can't be like people have said, being in the real world, listening to the news, that kind of stuff. That's Baba's business that I don't understand at all. And so I just don't listen anymore. I read so I'm not ignorant, but I can't. I stay in Baba world, and I have a wife who's in Baba world, and I think my dogs think they're in Baba world too. And so it's a great world, and you're all welcome to come anytime you want to. You're all invited.
And I like this, that I think we should coin that Baba-esque, make your life Baba-esque.
It's yours.
Yep. I share everything.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Rich.
I'll make it short. I know Patty hasn't spoken, I don't think. I was just thinking as Diane was talking that I've been reading again in the new book that Ward has published. And what Baba tells the young men in the Prem ashram is make Prem. And Baba makes it very clear that's that divine love that only he, can give to us, to each one of us. And so make Prem. And I think that's what we're all talking about, but it's not necessarily easy. It does take a real focus. You have to advocate for Baba in your consciousness all the time. I know this is true, but it reminds me of another term, which I love to throw in infinite intelligence. And I was struck by it when I first heard it, but it's a term that there is no English for it, but it's upapog. When you remember Baba, your mind can quit eating creation for just a moment. Stop eating creation. Remember the avatar. Well, anyway, thank you.
Richard. Great.
Patty.
Hey, Baba, everyone. God, this has been a great evening for me to hear everyone sharing. And, I'm going to say to Go Hair that literally, Go Hair, I agree 100% that your method is probably at the top of my list. My first thing I say is, good morning, beloved. And how can I please you? And could you help me do your wish and will today? And, and I repeat Baba's name and I say the prayers and I entrust my words and deeds. I do all of this. I thought when he wrote the email that you just covered every base, and really, Jeff, and I try to do everything. And in my early years, I didn't, but now I'm retired. And what I want to bring in tonight is, I don't really believe that I am the one doing it anymore, that he is so present in my life with everything, every moment right now, 100%. And I don't think I could get away if I wanted to, which obviously I don't, but there's a great deal of intensity in my life, and everybody has it. And I read a quote in Mani's book about what Mani said about Baba suffering after the Satara accident. And I have it right here, but I have two quotes that I wanted to say that I thought were really relevant. I mean, they're relevant to me right now, but Baba speaks to us all the time, or speaks to me all the time. And it's profound. But when I recognize, for me, in my world that has been a little in the heavy end of suffering right now, it was a joy for me, not a joy, but it helped me understand Baba's, okay, I'm not going to find it now. And I've got it highlighted in this book. Okay, what page was it? Okay, I'm not going to go there right now, but okay. So we suffer for God unknowingly, and he suffers for man knowingly. And and he takes on all the suffering for us all the time. So it eases anything I do in my day all the time, no matter what. And I present pretty well in terms of keeping a good face and doing all that stuff. And it's by his grace only that I know that this suffering is all for my good. I mean, and for humanity's good. And the other quote I wanted to bring is, every moment, Baba said, he responds to the whole of creation. Being divine, he responds wholly from love.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I got that exactly correct, but it's pretty darn close. So I thank all of you. You give me great gifts, just hearing you and seeing you. And I watch everything recorded, even if I don't show up. So really, it's a pleasure, just a divine pleasure. Thank you so much, Jay Papa.
Thank you, Pat. Beautiful. No, wonderful to feel that everything that happens with his love and is for our own deepening, moving people into love.
Asha.
I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she said 60% of your conversation is about Baba. And I said, whoa, you know, it's like, oh, really? But anyway, I get up in the morning and I sit at the edge of the bed and I look at Baba's picture, and then I sometimes read a quote from this little book and say, oh, okay, that's a good message for today. And then I think, you know, I better go in the shower because I'm feeling pretty like, you know, how you're kind of when you dream, you feel. So I start and I imagine that I'm under a waterfall or somewhere. And, you know, Bob is just, he talks to me all the time, you know, and, you know, I just keep him with me. And I mess up a lot. So I like talk to myself a lot, talking to me or him. So mostly I think I'm getting crazy. But anyway, I can identify with all of you. It's like, you know, Bob is with us, and whatever happens is supposed to happen. And, you know, you just go with it, you know, and you know, he's not gonna torture you to death. You know, you can get through it, right? And then something's always gonna, he always like does the kick and the kiss, because if you just stayed like, oh, everything's wonderful, you would kind of just be stuck out there in one spot and not keep moving, you know. So he, his time is different than our time. But when you stay in the house and you don't go anywhere and you don't interact in the world, time just completely evaporates. And then you step out, like after you leave the center and step out to go to the airport, all of a sudden you're in this, oh, you know, but you can take, I'm learning now that I can take that back home and be here with that and try to keep that same feeling that you have when you go to a Sahavas or something. Because I think that's one of the hard things, is to come back and then still want to hang on to how you feel when you're in Baba's cabin or something. But you can do that, you know, he's letting us do that now. Jai Baba. Yeah.
Jai Baba Moshe. Thank you. Well, I think it's getting a little bit late. I don't know if I wonder if Gabriella Tall is still with us. Oh wait, there were some other people. I did see some other hands. I thought I saw Payam there. We'll see.
I'm here. Jai Baba.
I saw your hand up earlier. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I thought it might get too late for you all. Jai Baba, you inspire me, all of you. It is like a dip in that ocean when we're here together in his love. I must say, I don't have a set way of remembering Baba, although looking at his picture has been the biggest medium for me. And the older pictures, Baba is like my father, my real father. And whenever there's a struggle, almost every day, and my struggle is other people's struggles. So, I work with children and their families who have pretty intense problems. So when I'm in the midst of it, I do forget Baba, I have to say. But the 12 o'clock alarm goes off and the 5 o'clock alarm goes off, and morning and nighttime, those I will say have become my ritual, thanks to the reminder from Effort and Grace. So it's like I'm in the midst of Maya and I'm just swimming, and I come up for air and I go back in. So that's how a lot of my days feel. And then there are days like today, it's just Baba, 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 Baba. So I just thank him for at least that we know of him and his love, and his reminders are everywhere. I will add this last thing. Franny Irani, who was married to Baba's brother, Adi Jr., would visit sometimes LA, and she always told us, and I believe somebody, either Baba told her to do this, or Mani or Mara, I can't remember. Take Baba's name three times when you get in your car. So anytime I drive, it has now become a reflex. Whether I remember or not, it just happens. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, and I start the way. So anyways, I just wanted to share that. Jai Baba, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah used to say that, I know, when you get into a car, because many things can happen in a car. You know, in the front
I
of
do that too, and I ask him to drive. So you drive and give him the wheel over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I think that, we'll see if Mayor Prasad has a final quote before silence. If you have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I have one from Life at its Best. Baba's love is with his lovers always, helping and guiding them. And they should keep their love for him alive and aglow by making him their constant companion in all their thoughts, words, and actions, while carrying on their responsibilities, commitments, and all other apparently necessary things of this world, though these have no foundation of their own in the domain of reality. Jai Baba.
Ooh, do that once again, and then we'll have a few moments of that. That's beautiful.
Baba's love is with his lovers always, helping and guiding them. And they should keep their love for him alive and aglow by making him their constant companion in all their thoughts, words, and actions, while carrying on their responsibilities, commitments, and all other apparently necessary things of this world, though these have no foundation of their own in the domain of reality.
Beautiful. Maybe. Well, thank you all for sharing. Very touching for me to hear all the ways you strive to remember Baba in and through the day. And I'm sure there are many others that would have other things to say that are helpful for all of us. Really, oh,
Did we miss your ritual?
well, I did. I thought I was gonna,
Busted.
huh?
You got busted.
I thought I was going to get away with, well,
Good one.
I'll just say my morning. When I first wake up, I usually wake up very early, and I'm usually groggy and in a haze. And when I'm at my best, I dress my soul with Baba immediately. And then I begin saying Baba's name inwardly. Sometimes for a half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, until the fog, the grogginess lifts. And then I start, I get on my feet. And but what I do is I transmute that grogginess into a living substance, and that is what fuels my day. And from there, I go about my morning routine. centering myself in Baba and also Mara. Mani used to say from way back, and she used to say, you have to see things through Baba's eyes. And I didn't know there was such an option, but I worked at that. I kind of took her seriously on it. And I found that when I'm in a state of compassion and empathy, I see how Baba sees us, how Baba and Mara see us. And they're so supportive and so loving. Nothing, no disapproval or anything. They're there completely for us. And then usually what I do before I say the prayers, I watch a movie of Baba, which there's so many available. And I usually try to find a movie with Baba and Mara in them. And then that's so that when I say the prayers, I have them visually, before me. And in saying the prayers, one thing I remember Adi Keirani, Baba's secretary, saying that he you might say plugged Baba into the prayers. They were all Baba to him. All the attributes, everything in there was Baba. It was not some formless, impersonal God. He put Baba in, and that's the way I view the prayers. And then I have my own homemade prayers, in which I go over the likely unfoldment of my day. Back in the mid-70s, I used to stay overnight in the old Gateway on a cot in the office, because Fred and Ella were on the house across the way, and they were both failing in their health. So Kitty and Elizabeth had me staying there. But one morning I woke up and Baba conveyed this to me. You can live a good life, but does the world need another good life? Let me live your life. You can live a good life, but does the world need another good life? Let me live your life. So I would say, Baba, you live this day for me, full of your love and light, and may it glorify you. You speak, you share, you empathize, you say your name. And I used to, and after a few years, I said, why you live this day for me? Why me? Let's get rid of the middleman. You live this day. You go in, you do clean cabins, you embrace people, you share with them, you hang out with the kids, whatever. You do that. And I mean, I know that this is not pure Baba going in there, but I find sometimes during the day, there'll be moments that are more expansive, more timeless and spacious than I know would be that would be the case if I were living my own life. Baba gives me indications that he's taking me up on my prayer. So that's kind of how I begin my day. And I do feel, having resting my soul with Baba from way back, Baba said, if you do it, you will have my presence with you throughout the day. And I enjoy that presence, and I do feel that Baba and Mara are always watching us wherever we are. That they're there looking down on creation. And one day we will know, one day we'll get above the clouds where there's all sunlight. But anyway, that's kind of my morning ritual. And so Diane, I was gonna.
Well, next Sunday I'd like afternoon, and then the next Sunday I'd like the evening
Yeah.
rituals.
Yeah. No, I just feel we are so fortunate. I mean, and like I say at the beginning, there are very few people on earth who even know of Baba and are focusing on Baba. God himself came, and there's 0.001% of humanity have discovered him. And so here we have this beautiful time together. I mean, one day there'll be millions on Zoom, but right now there are only a comprehensible number. So anyway, that was really nice. I could take a few more of these kind of things. Maybe we'll do it again, and those who didn't have time to share will hear what they do in their day, how they bring Baba into their day. But I know it means the world to Baba. When I'm able to see through Baba's eyes, I know that this means the world to him. Yeah. Okay, well.
Rich.
So
I wanted to put just a footnote, a little advertisement for Nan's music. I have it out in the garage, and my mind will just be floating in the garage. What can I do? And I turn on Nan's music, and Nan is issuing this prayer in her music to appeal to Baba and to help her to remember him. And I've been a big fan of Nan, and Nan and Jeff. But, I really like her albums. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. I'll convey that to her. Yeah. So anyway, and Jeff, nice to see you. We got you up kind of late though. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. It's really good to be here. It's not easy to be here on time, and I am saying Baba's name with a mala, and I love to say Baba's name, and I use the mala a lot during the day. Jai Baba.
Yeah, the Mandalim said Baba's name is like sending in termites into your house. It just eats away the entire interior, so that Baba has a place to live in you.
You know, Jeff, I'm just going to add one thing. I actually am woken up by my own internal heart repeating Baba's name. Yeah. And I mean, that has stunned me because it wakes me up.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked actually, but it's the most reassuring to me that somehow it's getting deep enough now. You know, it's really awesome. That reminded me.
Yeah. Oh, you're very fortunate. That's
Maybe that's Baba speaking in our hearts now.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Why
Get
not?
us out of the way. Get us out of the way and let
why
him
not?
go all the way. Yeah, really.
Well, also
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nan's lovely music, which it is a very beautiful album, I wanted to say that we went to see, I don't know if any of you remember Livingston Taylor, James Taylor's brother. I was never into his music, but I saw a clip on Facebook, and we were able to see him in concert at this intimate, the Iridium in Manhattan, intimate space, and right front row, like right next to him practically. And if you get a chance to listen to him, he's very good. At the end, he mingles with the crowd. And I asked him to autograph this book of his that I had bought called Stage Performance. And then I gave him a copy of my Baba Story book. And he seemed really, really touched, surprised and touched, because he's doing things for other people and somebody gave him something, which was, I hope he likes it.
That's cool, Tony. Did you tell Les Paul about Baba?
Well, poor Les Paul, he used to perform there every Monday night, but he passed away some time ago.
Yeah. Oh, you went later after he was. I thought he hosted their routine.
This was last night.
Just last night. Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah, his ghost might have been. Yeah,
And
I don't
Bob's
know.
presence. Yeah. Well, they have pictures of him and Les Paul guitars all over the place, but it's a small, lovely space. I'm sorry I missed seeing Les Paul there.
Yeah. Oh, he had great guests. I remember a lot of great guests.
Anyway,
Tony Bennett would come.
we're going to let Jay Sema finally go to bed.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Much,
Hey, Baba.
Hey, Baba.
Hey, Baba. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.